Hey, it's Tory from Goodybeads, and I am here with Candie Cooper.
Hey, Tory.
Hey, Candie.
This is gonna be fun.
I hope so.
I wore my Making Magic.
Love it with
quartz.
with the crystal points. And guess what, you guys? We're using actual crystal points today.
Yes.
So very apropos.
I planned it, Tory.
Excellent. Sometimes we plan things. Yeah, so today you are going to show us how to use the Bead-A-Lon Not a Bead tool.
Yes, and if you've ever seen me use this tool before, you know I love it because normally you use those little wooden handled hand knotters and you kind of gotta be coordinated.
Yeah, or you use a really small needle or or tweezers.
Slide the knot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this tool makes just making luxurious knotted jewelry a lot easier.
That much easier?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So today we're going to use some crystal points that I showed you from Dakota Stones. We're going to use some hematite beads from Dakota Stones, and then we're going to be using the Griffin natural silk cord for the knotting.
Favorite.
And this is the size 8 or the number 8. So
that matters.
Yes, it does matter.
The size 8, if you're looking at silk period, the larger the number, the larger diameter of silk cord. So if you want something chunky or you're making a mala or something like that, you might want to go for something a little higher up.
Like a 12 or something like that.
But the number 8 is a good, it's like the 20 gauge of wire.
Yeah.
It's an all-purpose size.
Gotcha.
And you want to kind of look at the holes in your beads also, because you want the silk to fill up the hole in the bead. If the bead hole is too big and your silk's too tiny, when you make the knot, it's not going to matter.
It's just going to slide right over
it. It's going to slide right over it. So that stuff, those little details matter if you want to have a successful experience.
Great tips. Thank you, Candie.
Thank you. Yeah. So when you get your silk, the best thing about this silk is it comes with the needle attached.
Yep.
I always rip off the bottom to find the needle, but you don't want to throw the card away because you may not use this whole strand of silk.
It's a good point.
Yep. So go ahead and unwind the whole thing. And then by having those 2 notches, you can just wind up your excess later. And then you're going to give it a tug.
You're going to stretch it out a little bit?
Stretch it out a little bit. You don't want the piece to stretch after the knotting process. So loosen that up a little bit. And then there's a billion different ways to finish the ends of silk.
Yes, absolutely.
But this is my cheater way. All I'm doing is folding over a couple inches, and I'm going to make an overhand knot like you'd knot a balloon.
Yeah, what a nice and simple, quick and easy way to finish it, because then you don't need any extra pieces or findings.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just more tedious activities.
Yes.
You know, I know you like quick and easy. This is quick and easy.
Yes.
So then let's look at our quartz pieces. I mean, you sell them by how long's the strand?
I think
16.
we sell them on 16-inch strands. This is like a half strand, but we've been taking pieces off of this to play with. So I do believe they are 16-inch strands.
I think they're 16 too. So what I like to do is start out with an odd number of crystals, but you want to kind of lay your crystals out so they create a fan.
Yeah, so pre-lay them out.
And it just looks really nice when you wear it, and it's got a beautiful drape to it.
Absolutely.
So that's the order you want to string it in. The one thing I forgot, Tori, are some spacer beads.
You need spacer beads. Would you like silver or kind of antique brass?
I don't care.
All right, well, we'll go with silver.
All right.
Mixed metal.
Yeah, I love mixed metal, and I think it just makes it look that much more flashy and expensive.
Absolutely.
So you only need a spacer to sit, like you're going to string a spacer first and then alternate between crystal and spacer. I find my needle now.
Black on black.
I was going to say really nice to be like looking for stuff on black on black. But so we'll string the hematine spacer, and then the other thing you want to kind of look at is the holes in your quartz pieces. You want to just find the line. That's the drill hole. We were teaching a class on this yesterday.
Yep.
And someone was like, "Where's the hole?" And I was like, "You always want to look for the stripe."
Oh, yep.
At the
going
top
through
of the
crystal.
point.
Yep.
And that's how you can find the hole.
And you did say getting that first crystal on will be the trickiest.
Yes, because where the eye meets the silk is a little loopy. You know,
it's a little thicker.
Yep, so by getting that first bead on, it just kind of squashes down the eye of the needle. And then you're just going to string all of your quartz pieces. You could string one bead at a time, but it's easier if you just kind of do all of your stringing first, and then
you're knotting.
Yeah.
So instead of string knot, just get all your stringing out of the way.
Yep. So you would just go ahead and string all of this. I don't need to do that to show you how to knot. And then it's time to knot. So I don't have a magic equation though of how many inches you can string to get the knotted section, but I know that 9 crystals is a perfect, in that class they look so nice. It made like a little 6-inch section. Yep. It looked good. Now the next thing you want to do is you're going to slide your first bead into place.
So up against that other knot you made?
Yep. Our little overhand knot. Kind of give it a tug, make sure everything's secure. And then now it's time to switch over to the knot a bead tool. So if you look at this tool, it's got the silver awl on it. It's got this little crochet hook looking piece that's called the yoke. And then it's got a lever, and when you slide that back, that awl is tapered, so that's what makes the knot go from this size down to this size. And so that's the basics of how the tool works. So first thing we're going to do is slide a bead into place, and then we're going to tie the cord around the silver awl. And that's kind of like, if you think about it, that's what you do when you were dragging that knot against the tool. Or, I mean the bead. Then we're going to push the bead out of the way to the back, and then we're going to hook in to the yoke. Okay. And while I'm pulling down on this, I'm going to slide. The biggest mistake that you'll be sad about how your knot looks is if you don't pull on the silk.
And you're kind of pulling down a little bit as
across.
well.
Yes. And this thing, I've taught so many classes with it, Tory. Yep. At first, you'll start out kind of frustrated because you're just getting the hang of it. But by the end, everybody, they're like, oh.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Yeah.
A little practice makes perfect there.
Yeah, totally.
Gotcha.
So that's why it's good to start with these easy projects first. So I just tied it around the awl, push your crystal piece to the back, then you're going to hook in, and then slide that over. The only thing that is kind of tricky is because these sticks are off-centered, sometimes the stick gets wedged up against the side of the tool, so just move it around.
So if you're using a round bead or anything more symmetrical, it'll be a little bit easier.
Yeah. And then, so you're just going to keep knotting sliding the beads into place, hooking in, pull, and slide. And you can see, like, you could whip up this piece. We taught that class yesterday. It took people about 45 minutes to finish their project.
A whole project. Yep.
So it's a pretty fast little section. And if you had chunky beads, that would be a nice look for this. I mean, you don't have to use quartz. You could use any bead, really. And that's all there is to it. And you can see how nice those knots look. Just perfectly against the beads. It almost acts like a seed bead in between. When you get to the end of your quartz pieces, you're going to finish the end with another overhand knot, and so you'll end up with something like this. Now it's time to get this so we're not getting all tangled.
Let's move the two pieces so they don't get tangled together.
Move these pieces, and then you want to go ahead and secure the 2 knots with a little bit of adhesive. We can also cut this extra silk away. Some people were asking, like, do I cut the silk right up against the quartz pieces? And I like to leave a little tail, but you can cut it pretty close.
So we're using the hypo cement to seal those, or kind of secure them.
Yep. And this stuff's gonna dry clear, guys, don't worry. So you're just gonna kind of tap that on and get both sides of your knot kind of just touched on there. It's a super fine applicator, so let's see if I can, Head necklaces. This looks so pretty with the mixed metals. I love it. And then we're just going to use some heavy-duty jump rings. And the only thing is, you kind of got to make sure that you've got the jump ring fully closed, because that silk can come right on through. Go ahead and repeat for the other side. Gotta make sure there's no gaps in the jump ring.
Yeah, otherwise your silk might just slide through a little bit there.
Yeah, brutal.
Yep.
Okay, so we got that, and then we'll go ahead and attach the clasp. We're almost
home free.
Home free.
Yep. That was so easy, Candie. I am shocked at how easy this tool makes knotting.
Yeah, and I brought a second necklace over on the forum here that just uses check glass and pearls. Really, you can string any kind of bead.
Yeah, it's popular for obviously pearls. It's kind of the traditional, but yeah, really using
check glass.
Yeah.
I know you love check glass.
I do love check glass. So it's so pretty. Yep.
Works great with that, and just metal contrasting. And if you do have a bead that has a hole that's too big. One tip is just have a handful of these hematine spacers laying around, and you can sandwich a cluster of beads.
Gotcha.
Put those on either side,
and then put the knot. So
yeah, so it
Great
holds the
tip.
bead in place. So that's all there is to it.
Look at that.
Cute.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much, Candie, for showing us this great tool from Beadalon.
Yep, love it. Love coming.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone, and join us next time on a Goody Beads video.